All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is May 21st, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I moderate the BYOB Trading Room. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Today is again, how I made another 10,000 again today. Let's go take a look at the charts today. All right, so let's just start with a fresh chart right here at the beginning. All right, so we'll take a picture of all of the gains here. Try it again. All right, so here's our gains. Let's flip to a different platform here. Let's try that one right there. That one's got nothing on it. All right, so on SPY today, okay, so here we opened up. We gapped down, all right, so that's bearish sentiment right away. All right, bearish sentiment right away, okay, so, and then on top of bearish sentiment right away, we also have, all right, before the day opens up, we've got consolidation underneath prior consolidation, okay, so that's a bearish environment, all right. Now, then on top of all of that, okay, we've yet to break the downtrend line, okay? Notice no higher lows, no higher highs being made, all right? We're getting lower lows, but we're not getting any higher highs, all right? So we gapped down into a new low, all right? We actually hit the Trump tariff anchored VWAP right here. That's that orange line, okay, from the beginning of the day, all right? And then price, instead of going lower from there, rallies back up, all right, to the bottom of this area right through here, pulls back and makes a higher low. From there, they go up, all right. So we traded some calls, all right, failure to make a lower low. We traded some calls all the way up to the downtrend line right here, right through here. Okay, so let me see if I can zoom in on that. So we traded some calls all the way up into here, all right? See how price is right on that downtrend line right there? Okay, this is the high of day. This is the rally high anchored VWAP right there. Okay, notice how price bumps into it and then gets faded away. Bumps there, bumps, and it kind of fades away. So you can see price action hitting that, as well as the downtrend line, as well as you can see price action also hitting the downtrend line, as well as failing to make higher highs. All right, so we got up here and we kind of lingered a little bit too long. Looked like they were going to break through, but they had a failed breakout, and with that failed breakout, we had some there. So I had some puts from this move lower right through here. Got the lower high. I bought some puts on that lower high. All right, and I held them all the way through this second lower high right through here, because we hadn't broken a rubber band candle for me, not yet. So we held them through here, and then here price action moved to the right. So we sold our calls into this area right here. Then with the puts that we had left over, price came all the way back down to the Trump anchored VWAP. All right, we already tagged it twice, or tagged it once, tested it second time. Third time we came right through it. All right, then pulled back and got underneath it, and you can see price action fails to come up there and meet it, and it doesn't even fails to even hit VWAP up here. And then from there we had lower highs and a higher low, but then another lower high, and then we got the lower low right through here. So that was puts and calls. So you can see right here on the P&L. Okay, I had some CGC calls, made $280 on CGC, as CGC went from 165 today up to about 195. Target for CGC is like 218. Had some TLT calls. I created a spread out of those. So I took a loss for $108 on those. Had some some Dow puts. Closed those out first thing in the morning. Then I put in an order to get to reload those, but I never got filled on the Diamond Dow puts. All right. So here's our puts that we had earlier today. Made $1,254 on those puts. Remember I said we're trading puts on the way down right through here. And then we caught the high up here, the lower high. Right, with the lower high, we were looking for a lower low, and here we are. We got the lower low. Okay, so we bought some puts and captured some profits as price came back down to meet the previous low of the day, right through here. Okay, so we had puts. So you can see I got some profit on some puts here. Got $1,254 on the puts, $6,094 on 585 puts. 1531 on some 588 puts, and then on these are and then another 1400 on some 586 puts, and then you can see here we made some money on the calls. That was 54.93 on the calls. Those are 600 strike calls. Made some money on those. Lost some money on these trying to create a spread, and I lost some money on some of those. So took the loss on those two. So all in all, it was a fantastic day, and I could say how much I got on that day was for the day I wound up with profits of $14,729. That's what, at least that's what it says right there. Okay, so that's what it says on that. Let's see what we got here. Let me just look at something real quick. And okay, and all right, so that's SPY on that. Let's take a look at 10-minute chart of SPY. We'll get something clean with nothing on it. Into the close, we got ourselves a 10-minute downtrend coming into the close. In the 2-hour chart, we have a 2-hour downtrend coming into the close. On the daily chart, we have a lower high and a lower low. We're still in an uptrend. Okay, price action, lower high, lower low, closing under a bullish trap, but on top of the 17 EMA right here on the daily chart. Okay, on the 2-day chart, we're still in a downtrend on the 2-day chart. We have to take out that high. 3-day chart, still in a downtrend, got to take out that high. Weekly chart, still in a downtrend, got to take out that high. Monthly chart, still in an uptrend, got to take out this low right there. Okay, so on the daily chart, we'll look at this with the scratch lines on there. Well, actually the quad lines, and let's put those back in there. And they belong, yeah, right up there. Okay. So on the daily chart, you can see price action is up here in the upper third. Okay, so that's bullish way up there. Okay, if I zoom way out, you can see let me increase that just a little bit, the thickness. Okay, so you can see price action, here's the quad lines, is up in the upper third, so that's bullish. Still making higher lows and higher highs, so that's bullish. In order for them to negate the downtrend, they'd have to come all the way down here where they have a low, a higher low, and take that higher low out in order to negate the uptrend that they're currently in. So there's SPY. So you saw the price action we traded today. That worked out nice. Let me just move this down some. Right there. Move that down some. Right there. Okay. And let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ on the daily chart. All right. We got a higher high and a lower low. Yes, 581. Yes. Actually, to the open gap, Mel. That's the first one, 581, then to the open gap below. All right, so on SPY, we got an open gap right here. So the low, 577.04. So this open gap right there. After 581, this 577 number right here. All right, and you can see that lines up right on top of the 17 EMA right there. Okay, so that will be my target for tomorrow. All right, so back to QQQ on the daily chart. Again, we got a higher high and a lower low. We closed inside a bullish trap over the rising 17. That's the green dots. Over the uptrend line. Up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Up there in quadrant 4. Making higher lows and higher highs. That's an uptrend right there. Okay, higher lows and higher highs. Okay, so that's an uptrend. Up here in the upper third, so that's bullish. A little consolidation over to the right. Okay, if you look at SPY and QQQ, we're in the supply zone right now. Okay, not quite the demand zone. This is the supply zone. There's a lot of overhead supply up here. All right, it'll take us more than probably a week to grind through this. Okay, probably more than a week to get through all of this. All right, so just saying, it's going to take us a while. All right, remember that's like 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's 3 months of supply up there. Okay, we're not going to cut through it in one 4-hour candle. All right, it's going to take us a little while. All right, but we'll get through it. Rest assured, I believe that we will get through it. So there's QQQ. At least I believe we'll get through it. I don't know that we'll get through it, but I believe we'll get through it. Okay, QQQ. Again, outside day closing inside the. I'm still lingering a sickness, but I'm all right. Inside the bullish trap over the rising 17. That's still bullish on QQQ. Diamond Dow. All right, Diamond Dow got a lower high and a lower low. All right, closed underneath a bullish trap over the rising 17. Closed underneath all-time high anchored VWAP. Notice QQQ. K closed over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, notice SPY closed over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's a pink line there. Okay, so Diamond Dow, you can see closing under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Not a very good look. No longer in the upper third, so that's neutral. All right, so Diamond Dow was bullish. Now it's neutral after today's price action. All right, so price action just neutral there on Diamond Dow. And what else do we got here? Okay, so we're in neutral land, but we're still in an uptrend. Higher low, higher high. Now, if they take out this low right here, actually this low back here, they'll have themselves a downtrend. I don't think they're going to get that low, but they may want to come back and test this downtrend line, which is pretty close, right around 400. All right, so we'll see what happens. There's Diamond Dow, still in an uptrend, still neutral. All right, not bullish, just neutral right now, and under the all-time high anchored VWAP. All right, there's the all-time high anchored VWAP. Let's take a look at IWM. Okay, another one under the all-time high anchored VWAP. See that? That's the pink line right there. Okay, lower high, lower low, closing under bearish cross. See the 3 crossing the 8. Closing just over the 17 EMA. Closing in the neutral zone, not in the lower third, but not in the upper third, so in the neutral zone, and still in an uptrend with a higher low and a higher high. All right. Let's take a look at FNGB. FNGB got an outside day. All right, that's a higher high and a lower low, closing inside a bullish trap over the rising 17. over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Up here in the, I'll give it to them, in the upper third, that's bullish up there in the upper third. All right. Bullish in the upper third and in an uptrend making higher lows and higher highs. There's FNGB. Take a look at our technicals, T21.22. You can see we really fell out of bed this morning here. We left off, we were in the buy zone. All right, you can see we dropped all the way into the seller's chop zone, did a little EKG right here, and then came all the way down to the sell zone and made our appearance inside of the oversold zone. Okay, so price action, a little bit of profit taking today. Okay, this is normal. All right, don't get freaked out. Okay, it would even be normal for price action to pull back to the all-time high anchored VWAP, all right, which is down around 550 for SPY. Okay, this is normal. Taking profits is something you should expect. You want to get all the dead weight out of the system, all right? So you got some profit taking. This is good, all right? Plus it gives us an opportunity, if you think about it, to pick it up at a valuable price, okay? Pick it up where we've got a higher low, all right? Instead of chasing it, we don't have to chase it anymore, okay? We're getting some opportunity to get in at a lower price, all right? So this is good. When they take profits, it allows us to get in at a lower high, all right? Or, excuse me, a higher low, all right? So this is opportunity. Don't look at this as negative sentiment or this is bad. This is good, all right? This is really good because this is the pullback that a lot of people have been waiting for to jump in, all right? So think about it. We got a nice monthly chart going on. Think about getting some longer term options, all right? See if it fits your plan, all right, for making some new highs, okay? So this is good. T21.23, again, we made an appearance in the oversold zone. T21.23, that was T21.22. T21.23, let's see what we got here. We got a little bit of selling, even had a little bit of buying, and we had some selling. So we get a look here. We got some consolidation under consolidation. Okay, a little profit taking is normal. Maybe come back, tag the rising 200, pick up some spinach, put some mustard on it, and go back up here and make some new highs. All right, 15-minute chart is still in an uptrend. All right. T21.23, nice bull flag, all right? So we fill a couple of bullish gaps, okay? That's expected to happen, all right? We've got a lot of bullish gaps. Got one here, we got one there. They got filled by the bears. We got a little one here, got a huge one here. You can put the 787 through that one, all right? Or the C4 or whatever it is, that big tanker one. All right, so right there, okay? So we've got some bullish traps that haven't gotten filled, all right? And all in all, price moving up and kind of more over to the right than it is a peak top, all right? It's kind of plateauing out. I like that, kind of putting in a foundation or maybe a launch pad to launch from. So we'll see. That's T21.23. It's only been one day, okay? Let's not get ahead of ourselves, all right? But T21.23, nice consolidation over to the right, like that. That's the 15-minute chart. You can see the selling coming in again at the end of the day. T21.23 3-bar chart. 3 more green candle bars, all right? Again, moving up, moving over to the right. Like to see this consolidate over this prior consolidation. That would be normal, all right? Maybe even pull back and test the backside of this flat 200 and maybe bounce up and make a higher high. We'll see. T21.23 3-bar chart, okay? That's in an uptrend, 15-minute in an uptrend. The daily chart has to take out this high up here to get itself into an uptrend. Not quite there yet, all right? FNGB, we saw a little bit of that earlier today. again, we got a bullish gap that hasn't gotten filled. Okay, and we got another little bullish gap that hasn't gotten filled. Price action consolidating over to the right, meeting that rising 200 SMA there. We're still up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Things are still looking very good, all right? Market's still looking good. We're not falling apart. Even if we pull back to 550, okay, and test the all-time high anchored VWAP, that would be normal, okay? That's a big drop. It's going to be scary, I know, but it's going to be okay, all right? As long as we bounce, all right? If we get down there and we go flat, all right, and all we do is linger down there way too long, that would be bad, all right? But if we drop in and create a nice V-bottom valley, that would be nice, all right? So that's what I'm hoping for. And it all comes down to the manner in which it hits that support area. If it comes in hard and fast, you're likely to get a nice red rubber school ball bounce. Okay? If it comes in really slow, like it's driving through the school zone with all the speed bumps, okay, that would be bad, because then that could just roll right through it, okay? Okay, but if it comes in really fast, you're likely to get that V-bottom valley bounce. All right, so we want to look at the manner in which the pullback is doing the pullback. Okay, how fast is it dropping rapidly? All right, because when it drops rapidly, you're likely to get that V-bottom bounce. All right, so there's FNGB, still looking bullish there. Let me just turn this off for a second. All right, I'm back. All right, let's go take a look at a few sectors. Okay, let's start off with XLE. That's our energy sector. Okay, energy not doing, really having a tough time. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, it's having a tough time. We have an uptrend. Right there, see, we have an uptrend. We are challenging the uptrend line. We are making higher lows and higher highs, so we have an uptrend. Okay, but we're back in the lower third again, okay? See the quad lines? We're back in the lower third. This is the bearish zone, all right? But we do have an uptrend, okay? Looking like we failed to break through downtrend line 2, all right? Still haven't even come back to downtrend line 1. All right, here's downtrend line 1. Here's downtrend line 2. So had some struggles at downtrend line 2. I guess we got there too fast and we got rejected. Okay, now if we'd have melted up through it, we could have probably transitioned over it. Okay, but maybe we hit it too fast and we got rejected like a red rubber school ball, and we bounced away back to the trend line. Okay, let's hope that the trend line can provide a V-bottom valley bounce back up towards this downtrend line. Okay, right now price action is underneath this 12-month high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line. Okay, we're in the lower third. That's bearish. We are in an uptrend, so there is hope. We are over an uptrend. We are spiking the uptrend line today. All right, so there's XLE. Okay, not really the most healthy sector out there. Okay, just saying. All right, it's having its issues, but the good news is you don't have to trade this one bullishly if you don't want to. There's plenty of other securities to trade. All right, so let's take a look at. That's XLE. Let's take a look at USO. Here's another one, all right? Failing to make a higher high. So it's still in a downtrend. Made the higher low, but still has not made the higher high. Price action, you can see in the lower third, that's bearish. Price action is underneath. Okay, this is a post-COVID high. That's a 3-year high anchored VWAP. We're underneath that. All right, we're in the lower third, and we're still in a downtrend. Okay, Good news is you don't have to trade this if you don't want to. All right, it's probably not the best one to be trading. There's no pattern here other than just a lot of choppy price action that is trying to work through. Let's take a look at UNG. All right, UNG in a downtrend. Why? Making lower highs and lower lows. Lower high, lower low. Okay, or higher low right there. But just still making lower highs. That's a higher low. We'll see where they go with this today. Today we wind up closing inside a bearish trap. Okay, that would be bearish. Closing underneath the 17. That would also be bearish. We close underneath a downtrend line. That's also bearish. But we're closing over this 12-month high anchored VWAP. That's bullish, but let me just say the bar's really not set that high. Okay? You can see how low this thing goes. All right? So what we got so far is a higher low. We need the bulls to make a higher high. We are in a downtrend. We're not in the lower third, okay? So we're in the neutral zone right here, but still in a downtrend, all right? So it's up to the bulls if they want to ink out a higher high. If they take out this high, all right, they will negate the downtrend, and they'll continue to be in the neutral zone right there. Okay, so there's UNG. Under the downtrend line, over the 12-month high anchored VWAP. All right, not in the lower thirds, so just neutral right through here. That's UNG. Let's take a look at GLD. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, closing over a flat 17, closing over the all-time high anchored VWAP, closing over this. What is this? Let's get this out of here. Okay. Closing over the uptrend line. Closing over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. We're in a downtrend because we have a low and we made a lower low. All right. If they take out this high, they will negate the downtrend. All right. And convert it to an uptrend. All right. We'll see what they want to do. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 bullish days in a row here, right? They're not ready to give up. They're looking good, all right? GLD, all right? Downtrend, but up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Silver. Wow, what a nice continuation on that big candle from yesterday. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, over the 17. Taking out this high right here. So that's an uptrend. Silver in an uptrend. Up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Finally in an uptrend. Over the downtrend line. Right there. Over this 12-year high anchored VWAP, which also doubles as a 6-month high anchored VWAP. Okay, so silver, uptrend, bullish. Up in the upper third, making higher lows and higher highs. Okay, nice consolidation. See how it came down here, moved back up, held that higher ground. That's what we like to see. Price action moves up, holds the higher ground. Okay, that's bullish when you see that happen. Okay, that's a bullish environment. Okay, so look for 2-hour or 10-minute uptrends to work. All right, bullish uptrends, look for them to work for you. Okay, there's silver. Let's take a look at SMH. SMH, not in the upper third today. It was yesterday, not in the upper third today. So neutral, making higher lows and higher highs. So that's an uptrend. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's a pink line. Over the downtrend line. Up here, still neutral and in an uptrend right there, SMH. But definitely knocking on the door to the bullish zone up top here. XLK. Technology, okay, up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Up over the uptrend line, that's bullish. Closing over the rising 17, that's bullish. Price action got a higher high and a lower low, but closing underneath the bullish trap. Not so bullish there, but over the 17. That's good. In an uptrend, higher low, higher high. XLK looking good. Okay, XLF, lower high, lower low, closing underneath a bearish cross over the rising 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Price action for XLF, looking fantastic in an uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs up here in quadrant 4. That's bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at IYT. Lower high, lower low, closing underneath another bearish cross right there, underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. In the neutral zone, it was bullish a few days ago. It lost some yesterday and lost more today. So we're just neutral, all right, on IYT. But we are in an uptrend because we have a high there and we made a higher high. So we're still in an uptrend. We're underneath this all-time high anchored VWAP. I like it more when we're above it. Okay, so IYT just neutral. So some things dropped out of bullish back to neutral. One of them being SMH, the other one being the transports. And I don't really like the candle I see today in the financials. But, again, pullbacks are healthy. They help eliminate some of the dead weight. And they cause the profit takers to try to chase price down. Okay, so this is healthy. Need a pullback. This is nice. All right, I like it when it moves over to the right. Usually the first one is a pullback, and the second wave up becomes a bull flag over to the right. That's usually what happens. Is the first pullback is becomes a pullback after the first wave up, and then the second wave transitions into a bull flag up at the top. Okay, so we'll see what happens. So if we look at SPY, all right, and I'm just going to share this with you I shared it this morning. I'll share it again right now. All right, I just want to point this out. Okay, so this is the dip. Okay, see everything underneath the consolidation zone right here. This is the dip. So we'll take it from here. So Wall Street, for all intents and purposes, bought the dip. Okay? Wall Street, just like retail traders, likes a 2-for-1 for their money. Okay, so that was one risk unit, and they like to get two reward units. Okay, so one risk, 2 reward. Let's just look. Now I'll be tickled if we just get 1 reward unit. Okay, so there's 1 reward unit right there. I'm going to slap that on top. Okay, just want to show this to you. This is what you could be in store for. Okay, that's 670 is 1 reward unit. Okay, not saying it's going to happen. All right, but I'm just saying it is on the table. Okay, we may get to it, we may not. Okay, but there's 1 risk unit, there's 1 reward unit. That's 670. That seems way out of touch, right? Believe me, when they get going, they can get going. See how fast they bounced in April? All the way from 480, clear up to almost 600 here, okay? They can move it when they're ready to move it. All right, just saying. All right, might happen. I don't know. Okay, it's looking good. All right, let's try to see what 2 reward units are. All right, I've already got it marked off. That's 764. Okay, 764. That would be huge if we got 2 reward units. Okay, that would be the normal. Okay, you buy 1 risk, you get 2 reward. Okay, and I'm going to show you the monthly flag, the monthly candle. See this candle right here? That big tail candle? That's huge. That usually precedes something that does the same thing on the top side. Okay, I'm just saying that usually precedes something that does the same thing on the top side. Again, we'll see, all right? But I just want to make you aware of it, that there's that possibility. And what would be the catalyst for that possibility? Well, first of all that inflation that we went through, all right? Okay, what that means is all of our companies are selling their goods and services for more money, all right? So when you were selling pencils for $2, you're now selling a box of pencils for $3, okay? So that means you're getting more money for the same product, okay? When that happens, that means you're taking in more revenue, all right? As long as you're selling equal amounts that you did last year, okay? So now you're bringing in more revenue, okay? Now, if your profit margin and management has their act together, okay, a lot of those profit dollars should transcend down to the bottom line, okay? A lot of that revenue dollars going to come down to the bottom line. Of course, you're going to have to pay labor some more, and your materials might cost a little more, but all in all, you're working with bigger numbers, and when that comes down to the bottom line and you got an increase in profits, what you have is an increase in earnings per share, all right, which causes investors and fund managers to want to pay more for that product or for that security or for that company. Okay, so I'm just saying that catalyst is out there, all right? So there's that possibility that this could get juiced and start going up there, all right? So we'll see what happens, all right? Maybe we just double top. Maybe we consolidate for 2 years right here between 500 and 600. We'll see, all right? I don't know, but we'll see, all right? If we could get some certainty out of the White House, it would be nice. All right, we're still waiting for certainty out of the White House. And I think if the Federal Reserve could get some certainty out of the White House, they would have a better clue as to what they want to do with interest rates. Okay, so I think we're all waiting on negotiations to take place and the outcome. So we'll see. Maybe another 6 months of just meandering over to the right. We'll see what happens, all right? So that's it for me for today, traders. I want to wish everybody a wonderful afternoon. I want to mention this, okay? Got some traders that did some awesome job today, so I just want to highlight them, okay? So Bob made some daily goals. Looks like a couple daily goals there. Okay, Lawrence made some profits. Scott made some profits. Jim got 5 daily goals, I think, or at least a couple daily goals. Oh, Jim covered some puts, okay, right there. Just closed some puts or covered some puts for $22.50. All right, a lot of people made some money today. Fido made some money, all right. A lot of people made some money today in the BYOB Trading Room. If you're not part of it, you're missing out. I think Mel even made some money today. Things looking good. Brent made some money. I know Brent said he was taking off. He had another fantastic day. Brent did right here. See, tomorrow, 5 daily goals. Wow. Awesome. 5 daily goals. That means he increased his account by 5%. Okay, can you imagine if you did that every week, increased your trading account by 5%? You could have a double in not too long. All right, that's it for me for today. I'll see you guys all tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. All right, be safe, be strong. All right, be careful. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.